G'day humans, Chris Stead here. Today I'm going to do a video on this, the Apple MacBook Pro M2. Now there's since been an M3, there's an M4 about to land by the time I do this video, but the reason why I wanted to film this and film it here in, if the Bintang shirt didn't give it away, Bali with the rice paddies behind us is because I want to talk about how this has been replacing my desktop. Now in my line of work I do a lot of travel and I do a lot of high-end stuff, video editing, right? So I need a pretty decent laptop to have on the go. And I was really looking for something that could be as good as my desktop. So I've got a PC desktop at home and I've loaded it with a good graphics card, stacks of RAM, you know, everything I need to be able to do a lot of video editing and have multiple Adobe products at once and multitask like crazy. It does an okay job, not great, but like there's a lot of money sunk into it. And I needed something that I could take on the road. Now I used to have a PC laptop. I think the last one I used was, I think it might have been an Alienware. I've had a few, but the PC laptops that I was using just kept letting me down in many ways. Mostly battery life was a big problem. Also, they really struggled to multitask while not getting crazy hot, and also being super loud to the point where I'd go in and do these contract jobs in offices and I'd get in there and like staff would complain because the laptop's so loud as it's chugging away like crazy. So I ended up getting my hands on this Apple MacBook M2, and this has got the M2 Max chip in it, and it's got 64 gigabytes of RAM in it and a 2 terabyte SSD, so it's maxed out. It's an expensive laptop. And I've had it now for well over a year. And it's been all around the world. Like I've been to probably 10, 12 different countries. It's been all around Australia, Uluru, the Great Barrier Reef, Tasmania, taken it camping trips. I've spent 9 weeks backpacking around Southeast Asia, and you can see all that content on my channel if you want to check it out. So it's really been through the rigors, and it's just as good now as when I first used it. And I can't stress how impressed I've been by how well this performs under load. And that's I think is the big difference, and I haven't found anything like this. And I'm not an Apple fanboy by any stretch. In fact, Apple annoy the hell out of me in most situations because their closed off ecosystem makes things difficult for me. It works for them as well, like it helps this product be really good, but it also makes it really frustrating, especially when I'm shooting on Android phones. I'm trying to get stuff off and on, and just bits and pieces like that. So I think that even makes it more impactful that I'm saying what I'm saying right now, because I'll give you an example. So I recently did a trip over to Bangkok, and from my house to the airport is approximately 2 hours. So I worked for like an hour and a half on this, doing video editing and just emails and stuff on public transport to the airport. Then I got on the airport, and then I did the whole way to Bangkok. I was just doing video editing, like 5 or 6 videos I edited out. I was like the vast majority, I think it was an 8-hour flight, I think 6 hours, at least 7 hours of it, I was just on the computer constantly, doing high-end stuff, right? When I got into Bangkok, I still had, like, I think I still had like 20% battery left. Like, it's out of control when you think about that. And I remember thinking, oh, will it make it, will it make it? I had to do so much work on that plane trip. And then I got there and I was like, I can't believe it. I'm in Bali right now, same thing. In fact, I had a shorter trip, I had even more left. So the battery lasts even when you're doing really high level stuff. The other thing is that when I export on this, it exports like significantly quicker than my home PC. Significantly quicker. And the home PC is always having dramas. Always whinging about something, always, oh, export failed, why? I don't know, it just failed. You know, and then you do it 6 more times and it suddenly works. There seems to be just too many moving pieces on the PC ecosystem to do that kind of high-end multitasking stuff. Something always gets in the way. It always ends up tripping over. And I just haven't come across it with this. It doesn't get hot. It doesn't make a lot of noise. So all of that considered, I think this has ended up being the desktop replacement I was searching for. And when I was looking for a PC desktop replacement, I really didn't think I'd land on an Apple MacBook. But this M2 chip, this M2 Max chip in particular, and I'm excited to see what the M3 can offer, and then obviously the M4 is about to come out as well, but it just delivers. And yeah, so if you're also looking for some sort of PC desktop replacement, something that you can take on the go. Look, admittedly, it's got a bit of weight. It's nowhere near as heavy as the same spec machine in a PC would be. Nowhere near as heavy, but definitely not as light as you can get. Like, there's a bit of weight to it. There's a lot going on in here. But if you were trying to get this kind of performance and specs in a PC laptop, it would weigh a lot more than this. I'm sure of that. And it's the 14-inch Retina display, looks fantastic as well. So it's good for just watching movies and doing whatever else you might want to do on the road, as well as, of course, emails and browsing and all that kind of stuff. And just knowing that that battery life is going to last, even when you put it under load, is definitely something that is really important to me, because I'm not stressing about it constantly, especially when you're traveling. You know, the idea of some of the laptops I've used in the past, like 3 or 4 hours worth of battery life, you're just constantly searching for somewhere to plug it in. And I don't get that. So I realise this has sounded like a huge Apple MacBook love-in, but I love it. And that's just an honest, genuine experience from me. So if you can hack the Apple side of it and just everything that Apple is, I don't need to go into the politics of it, and just being in that iOS ecosystem as opposed to being in that PC ecosystem or that Android ecosystem where everything's a lot easier to deal with, then I totally recommend considering it as a PC desktop replacement. And if it wasn't for the fact that my desktop's all set up the way it is, I'd probably use this at home as opposed to my PC, especially when I'm doing high level end stuff, because it just performs better than my whole entire huge tower. Yeah. So anyway, there you go. Those are my thoughts on the Apple MacBook M2 Pro, which I feel will carry across to the M3 and definitely the M4 in terms of looking for the best possible PC desktop replacement for high-end multitasking, high-end software use. And there's actually games coming here now as well. Actually, I should point out, Mac's actually really started to kind of facilitate the porting of big PC and console games to Mac, which hasn't been in their wheelhouse for many years. All right, that's enough. I'm Chris Dead. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you check out my other videos, and until next time, I'll check you later. You.